Okay, so after not taking a look now for a couple of weeks, we decided to take a look and see how Wayfinder were doing with their latest loot shooter release, and we got some very interesting stuff indeed. So today we're going to be taking a look at what's going on with Wayfinder and the future it intends to entail, as I feel like this may actually be an amazing move for the game. What is going on, guys? My name is CloudPlays, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're inside of Wayfinder, and we're going to be getting into some awesome news for you guys. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favorite flavor is cherry vanilla, but you guys can catch an array of flavors via the link in the description and utilize code CLOUD at checkout for a cheeky discount. With that mouthful out of the way, let's dive on into some Wayfinder news. So as reported on massivelyop.com, Wayfinder pauses seasons as it hunts for a publisher and rebuilds the roadmap. Now, what does this mean exactly? We're going to take a look at that article in just a moment, but first off, Wayfinder posted up a tweet just a matter of days ago now saying, "We thank Digital Extremes for helping jumpstart Wayfinder and getting us to this point in our journey. Now, Airship Syndicate owns the Wayfinder IP, and we have no plans to stop developing the game now. We look forward to continuing to grow the game alongside our players as we take in operations. The game has a long way to go in early access, but with belief from our players and our dedicated Airship crew, we can and will get there." Now, this is highly interesting, because what is it that actually happened to Digital Extreme? Well, just a matter of weeks ago now, Wayfinder fans were shaken by the news that yet another round of layoffs at Digital Extremes was accompanied by the dissolution of the studio's publishing outfit and the serving of its publishing partnership with Airship Syndicate. Since then, we've fretted alongside players over what would happen to Wayfinder, which Airship vowed to continue the development. Now, Airship Syndicate's Director of Marketing and Engagement, AJ Lasaracina, now I reckon I've butchered that, but my apologies for that one, has now kindly answered our questions about the whole ordeal with some specifics, and there's critical information in here. AJ conveys that Wayfinder staff, which didn't suffer any direct layoffs itself and seems to have been blindsided by Digital Extreme's internal upheaval, can continue operations from the near future, and means to do just that while it hunts for a publisher, which apparently they've already been interested by. But players also need to know that the studio has put the brakes on seasons and free-to-play plans while it reassesses and revises its roadmap. Read on for the whole interview. There seems to be quite a lot in here, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But as far as where the game is actually going, Joe Madureira, and again, another name butchered in one video, who is the CEO of Airship Syndicate, posted up a tweet again just a matter of days ago saying, "Wayfinders, thanks for your patience while we transition to full ownership of the game, live service, and operations. Some basic things like being able to update Sony builds are still out of our control, but we are urgently working to fix this. More info coming soon." Now, for those of you guys who are on PlayStation, don't worry. If you have done something prior to this, then you will still be able to do everything that you have been doing on a general crossplay entirety, but we'll get into that in just a moment. For right now, though, what is it that's going to be happening, and what is it that the main guy AJ has been stating inside of this game? Now, it states right here that Massively OP said, "It was my understanding, which may be correct or outdated, that Digital Extremes was not hurting for money." So why this sudden about face when it comes to Wayfinder? Is Tencent somehow to blame? Is this really as simple as DE wanting to leave the publishing business? Why is it happening so dang abruptly? Now, Airship Syndicate Director of Marketing and Engagement AJ says, "I can't speak for Digital Extremes or for Tencent. I can say that we began working on the transition plan with DE the second we were informed." Now, for those of you guys who have been obviously frustrated over recent occurrences, wondering if there is any refund plan on deck with the seasons actually being paused, they go on to state here that as far as refunds go, it's entirely up to Digital Extremes as they handled all payments. So it'll be interesting to see what it is that DE are actually coming up with that one, because this may be a long haul route. Now, why is this a good thing in my personal opinion? Well, realistically, the way that the mindset's going to be working inside of this game now is going to be completely different. The way that this game actually operated beforehand with its seasonal model, which was obviously the main publishing unit, and how they actually worked it together, they're now going to be scrapping altogether. So the season has been paused as of right now, while they work on a remodeling of how that one operates. Now, there was actually a comment posted up on the tweet that stated, so with the season model being paused, how exactly will new Wayfinders be delivered? It seems like AJ says the various reward tower unlocks will now just come with updates and presumably be obtainable some other way. I'm glad you guys are still going. I love the game. Now, Wayfinder actually responds with, this is correct. We'll have characters, reward towers, and new content and etc. We'll just be releasing it faster by not putting it all into a season wrapper. Now, this for me is absolutely huge because for realism entailed, I absolutely hate the seasonal mechanic. Essentially, all it means is that they are able to post things up every 3 months. There's always a delay on things. There's always a bit of a problem when it comes to these sorts of quote-unquote lower grade games being able to post up this seasonal mentality, whereas actually it should mean that we should be able to get content a lot quicker, we should be able to get updates a lot faster, and there should be a lot more things that could be creeping through the woodworks, maybe at a bit of a slower pace and a little bit of a drip feed of content so that we consistently have something new that could be running into the game, rather than having this absolutely nothingness for maybe the last month, or maybe even a month and a half, 2 months if you guys are real grinders of the game, but then all of a sudden having this overwhelming amount of content that will just come out of nowhere and fill up your first week to 4 weeks before you have to wait another 2 months before the next season actually comes. So them taking this movement is absolutely huge, and I think them dropping digital extremes and remodeling the way that seasons work and the way that it all updates is actually really, really good for this game. It was one of my biggest pet peeves, was that the seasons were really cool and I really enjoyed it and everything was good, but it just ran too slowly and it just didn't really push the narrative for me too much. Now, they have made a lot of changes since my last video here on the channel, including a 300% boost in XP, which is absolutely freaking huge and was probably my biggest gripe of the game, that leveling was just too damn slow and it just really, really irritated me, and a lot of you guys slated me in the comment section of the previous video. Maybe I did get a few things misconstrued and some misinformation in there, so I can apologize, but I've done so much research on this game since I found out everything that's going on that I'm genuinely intrigued to see what the future of this holds. Airship Syndicate as a general development team are actually really, really good at the jobs that they do, and they're really good to work with. We did a bit of work with Wayfinder on its first initial release into early access, and they're such a good team, and I'm really hoping that they can find a way to make Wayfinder have its place inside of this looter shooter genre. The looter shooter genre is absolutely knackered at the moment, with us waiting on the first Descendant, which is absolutely on the top of my listing. I will not lie to you guys, I cannot wait for that game to drop early next year. But right now, Wayfinder definitely needs to find its foothold in where it belongs inside of this genre. It's at the moment having a bit of a dead point where these Steam players, quote-unquote Steam players, not every player under the freaking sun on every console, but the Steam player count was just so abruptly low that it was just ridiculous. Like, from the initial release of early access to maybe about 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, they lost nearly 20,000 players inside of this game, and it's just gradually gone down to the point where I think right now there are around 480 players at a total 24-hour peak, which is absolutely tiny. It's not really a big community on the main forefront, and the overall rating for it is not overly great. Now, only 45% of the overall reviews of 16,000 were actually positive. So it's really, really not gone in the right direction for them, and I'm hoping that they manage to turn this around. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this title though, because I think that they've actually got something going, and if they can do this right, then they may be able to bring this into a full release with actually a decent level of scaling. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up, subscribe, post notifications turned on. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.